Hi everyone, welcome to this channel. My name is Silvia Zweifel, and today I will share with you some key passages of an event under the title An Organizational Touchstone to Nurture Unity, Diversity, Art Science to bring about an economia amable, kind to people and to nature, life sustaining. The reason why I bring this is because we, all the participants, together, we succeeded in nurturing wisdom, knowledge, and experience, not only on the individual level, but also on the collective level, even beyond those of us who participated in the event. Since when that happens, it creates a resonance that spreads out into the web of life we all are immersed in. Together, we created abundance from abundance, joy, vitality, hope, ideas, and creativity for us and many, many, many more. So I'm very grateful to all those who participated, kindling the fire and making it possible. And this intends to be the first of 2 or 3 videos sharing about what happened there. I hope you enjoy it and find some clues for your own endeavors, nurturing wisdom and joy. Yeah? So let's go for it. We began with this question. What attracted you here? And here it goes with the sharings.
I'm interested in non-classical or non-neoclassical economic theory. So I'm interested in alternatives to our normal way of thinking.
Well, when I saw the name Maturana, I immediately wanted to come. And the whole concept of compassion, bringing compassion into systems awareness. To me, that makes so much sense.
What attracted me was our email conversation about this, and I wanted to learn more.
I was attracted because Umberto Maturana, he was such a great inspiration with Francisco Varela for me. And because of the Spanish Economia Amable, I truly want to see some alternative economic models.
I was attracted to this because it was part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion thread. And then the topic itself was really compelling.
I've never heard of Economia Amable. Anything that provides diverse, inclusive energy from that system's perspective, to me, is extremely attractive.
Compassion in system science. Maturana is actually in my work in terms of embodied cognition. And I do think that that's a clue of bringing that compassion that's a lot more than just thinking. Then we might actually be able to design or create something more compassionate, more caring, more kind.
I come from an amable tradition, which is the mate. The mate tradition is from South America. Iguazú, northern Argentina, Paraguay, Brazil, and northern of Uruguay. It has a very nice mythology because it is said that it was a present from the moon to humanity to foster friendship. And this is something we will do together, kindling the fire together as we do from ancient times. So each one of us will be adding a piece of wood to the fire. Please have pen and paper. You will be going to use it later. I would like to offer a thank you to Bille Bunel, who is a special invitee with a very key role that you will discover a bit later. I'm an economist engaged with this Economia Amable. After working almost 2 decades in the banking industry, I left for a long sabbatical to reflect, study, and write with the aim to tune into a promising scenario because I understand that humanity's available knowledge and wisdom allows for it. Little by little, I came up with the idea of an economia amable, an inclusive economy kind to people and to nature. Here in this meeting, we will explore a tool for it, an organizational tool to nurture unity, diversity, using a specific example for it. Very shortly, 5 key components of the economia amable. Amable is a Spanish word from the Latin, amabilitas, which means conducive to love, which in English would be amiable, friendly, kind. To be amable we have to kindle that in our thoughts, feelings, and actions. That's the way we express it in the world, the proxy world and the big world. Abundance. There is immense abundance already existing. So if we recognize that abundance, we can choose to nurture that abundance, creating abundance from abundance. Vitality, recognizing and caring for the aliveness in us and our environment. Interdependence, nurturing not only the awareness of interdependence, but the consciousness of interdependence. The difference between the two is I could be aware, but when I interact with everybody from there, that's the consciousness. I live up to that. That's something we all have to a certain degree, at least. Cycles, recognizing at least the existence of numerous cycles happening all the time. Very, very small ones and big, up to the universe, multiverse, all together influencing each other inside us and the world we are immersed in. Speaking of Amable, this event is held in honor of Charles François and Umberto Maturana. Not only their works, also their lives. Both of them, they acted as living touchstones for many of us in the system's cybernetic community. So this is time for sharing. I will begin inviting Pille Bunel, who was a friend and mentee of Umberto Maturana. So please, Pille.
Tell a little story. I was in a conference where Maturana was presenting in 1994. Then after the conference, because the organizer was somebody I knew, invited me to their house afterwards, and I sat at his feet while he told stories. When the next year I went to my first American Society for Cybernetics conference, he was presenting, and I happened to meet him in the elevator, and I asked him, Dr. Maturana, do you remember me? And he said, oh, yes, of course. And then only afterwards did I discover that he was being very nice. He probably did not really remember me, but he did hand me, before the end of the conference, a sheaf of papers about that thick. This was a manuscript for a book. He said, would you like to read this and comment on it? I said, sure. Well, that was the beginning. It took a decade of reading through that, meeting him at other conferences, and discussing on many different cafeterias, then going for walks to clear our head. He mentored me. My life shifted. I started teaching instead of being an environmental consultant. A lot of things shifted, and I have so many fond memories. Time for somebody else to share.
Thank you, Pille. Barbara.
I have so much respect for this person who I've never met, but the trainings I've participated in, Maturana is a huge teacher and mentor for them. And one is, I'm a certified biodança facilitator, which is a beautiful movement modality that originated in Chile and Brazil. And Maturana very strongly influenced that movement systems. Now, when I refer to the boundaries that I like to nurture in my teaching, I call it the membrana de Maturana.
Yeah. The languaging, like Barbara, the nurturing the boundaries, that the boundary is not this hard fixed thing, but it's something that can be nurtured. It's like a hidden third we need to have a look at. And so that's something I just wanted to say. It's very influential to me. And it's also taken a long time for me to process all of that and experience it. And that was the other thing. It was about the experience. So, and then how do you bring that back into the work that we're doing?
Thank you. Deborah?
I've had the opportunity to meet both Maturana and Charles François, and I'm not as familiar with Maturana's work as I would like to be. My own work, I focused more on some of the earlier work in the systems field. And that's where I feel a kinship with Charles François, because his encyclopedia, an incredible contribution to the systems community. And thinking about Charles François brings me back to some of the early meetings. It was a very different community. My sense is mostly men in suits. So it's definitely women, but it was a very different sense of a community. I feel like the women have brought much more of a sense of inclusiveness and engagement. That's what they bring to mind.
François was my mentor, and a mentor for many in this community, particularly in Iberoamerica, since he chose Buenos Aires to live after coming from Africa, the Congo, this person. So I take Joan O'Donnell, please.
Thanks, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. I was sitting with this paper on my desk, and I was adding, it's by Maturana and Pillay, and I was adding the final touches to my own presentation tomorrow using a quote from this. And when the conference started, I was looking at Pillay going, why do I feel like I've met this woman? So hello, it's a real pleasure. I've been very touched by Maturana's work, which has really influenced my own research, both autopoiesis and structural coupling. I'm very influenced as well by that embodied cognition. It's really been the start of a journey for me in training with Arowana Hawashi in social presencing theatre in New York, which is an embodied systems sensing, I think.
Thank you, Joanne. As I said, we will be working on a touchstone that Moira Allen and Jan Hively used to kindle a worldwide community, a very vibrant network, the Pass It On network. They used a Hopi poem, particularly as a well of wisdom. And they worked extensively for years, offering workshops. In that way, they prepared the ground for it. While a mission informs what an organization intends to do, to promote through its everyday action, a vision informs what it aspires to achieve. And a touchstone speaks about how it does what it does. It sets the cultural environment, the spirit of the organization. And here I depicted this touchstone. A touchstone is an attractor, the cohesive force of an organization that builds meaning and nurtures values and belonging. An attractor that has to be alive to maintain its power, to offer guidance, to create new understanding and sustenance to high ethical standards on an everyday basis. It has to be infused in each interaction of the people who are involved. As an organizational touchstone is important in every organization, it is much, much more in worldwide organizations, since those are multicultural. At the center, you see the attractor and many, many different petals grounded into this center, each one of them unique. Those petals tend to form groups of affinity, as we human beings tend to do very naturally. Here, there are some that are kind of loners. This one is very different from the rest, but all of them nurture this center and are nurtured by it. That's what it is about. In the case of Pass It On Network, what I'm speaking of is the poem We Are the Ones We Were Waiting For by a Hopi elder. Now it is the moment of Pille Bunel, who is an accomplished scientist and an artist. She will be reading for us the poem, but first we will prepare ourselves to listen. This is a listening preparation pause. You know, Charles François and Humberto Maturana were amazing listeners. They not only were listening to the person, the people, also to the system. I will ask you to do this with your hands. Our hands come from our heart. Our heart. Okay, it's difficult for me. So this, your own energy, the energy of your own heart. It feels warm and nice. And when you wash your face with that, it is energizing. You kind of massage and do this kindly all over your body. It's a way of you can stand up. This is a way of awakening the body, everybody, very gently. Yeah, okay. And we can stretch, and ground your feet very much ground your feet. Feel the earth below your feet. And stretch. Open this. Open. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Just as if you were awakening right now. And take your seat again. Thank you. And be sure that your sitting bones are even on your seat. Yeah. So it gives you a nice place to sit, so you can sit upright. When we are upright and open, it is much easier to listen. And to finish, we will be paying attention to ourselves, to our breathing during three kinds of gentle breathing. So breathe in very gently, and you can close your eyes and feel the movement of this inhalation, expanding your body, the space within you. 1, 2, 3, each one at its time. One more. So, yeah. So thank you very much for doing this. And now it is time to listen to the artist. Hopi Elder speaks in the voice of Bill Bunnell.
You have been telling the people. You have been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. The 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. This is the hour. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time. It is time to speak your truth. It is time to speak your truth, create your community, be good to each other. And do not look outside yourself for the leader. This could be a good time, a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel like they're being torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say, we must let go of the shore. Let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river. Keep your eyes open and our heads about the water. See who is there with you and celebrate. See who is there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally. Nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For when we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. A halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. Banish the word struggle. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. Sacred celebration. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are.
Now we will have a moment of silence. Please capture the arising thoughts, images, and feelings on paper. Yeah. Treasure your notes on the poem. Those are words of wisdom, and they were read with much care and love. And listen again to it whenever you choose, with an open or from an open heart. And let those words of wisdom resonate in you. Each paragraph has something to offer to each one of us. In time, you will find deeper and deeper meanings, new questions and new answers, for sure. And to conclude, in the description to this video, there is a table of content with a timetable to make it very easy to access to the poem. This Hopi poem, very far from the mainstream, refreshing. So that's the invitation. Go for it. Hopi wisdom. And just for the record, this event was held on the 65th annual meeting of the International Society for the System Sciences under the title, The Art and Science of the Impossible, the Human Experience. So that's it. See you soon. Bye.